Tonight on the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast, we discuss a very important question. How important is Dean Ambrose as WWE Heavyweight Champion? I welcome you all to the Pay-Per-View Podcast. And here's your host, Mark Flores. Thank you guys for joining me on another great episode of the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Flores. Tonight we have a very important topic to discuss. As you know, Sunday, Money in the Bank, Las Vegas, Nevada, we saw one of the craziest surprises to some. Dean Ambrose actually won the WWE Heavyweight Championship. He won the Money in the Bank ladder match, which in turn he ended up cashing in against after Roman Reigns lost it to Seth Rollins very cleanly in the middle of the ring. Dean Ambrose then cashed in and beat Seth Rollins to actually become the WWE Heavyweight Champion. This is his first WWE Heavyweight title. This is his first World Championship. So we're going to discuss how important this is. How important is it that Dean Ambrose is heavyweight champion, WWE Heavyweight Champion? But before we get that talked about, let's get the commercials out of the way. Tonight's Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by Game Swappers. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade your retro games and next-gen consoles. That's PS4 and Xbox One. You could come to contact with Game Swappers via Instagram at GAMESWAPPERS. That's GAMESWAPPERS. Game Swappers. Buy, sell, and trade. Keep in mind, guys, this Sunday, June 26th from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill in Pomona, California by the Fairplex Fairgrounds, Game Swappers is going to have Retro Respect. Basically, a larger buy, sell, and trade event than they have at their usual store on the last Sunday of the month. You yourself can buy, sell, and trade with other vendors there. There's going to be over 15 vendors there, including Game Swappers themselves. So if you do have retro games that you want to buy, sell, or trade, come on down. You'll be able to find all the information on Game Swappers' Instagram page, so make sure you give them a follow and find out more information along the way. Once again, from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill in Pomona, California, they're going to have the event called Retro Respect. Game Swappers will have a booth there, so you can buy, sell, and trade with them or with 10 plus other vendors there as well. And just to remind you guys once more that if you do share the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast, the Retro Collecting 101 podcast, where I give advice on how to retro collect and tips and tricks on what to do to amass a retro collection with video games. Or if you do share the Mark and Andre Show, a current events, conspiracy theories, and entertainment podcast, the first of its kind. If you do share any which one of those, you get 10% off towards your purchase at Game Swappers. Or if you're in the interest of trading your games, you'll be able to get 10% more towards your trade-ins simply by sharing the podcasts. Any which one of them, just take a screenshot and show proof, and you'll be able to get your discount. How important is Dean Ambrose as WWE Heavyweight Champion? Dean Ambrose as WWE Heavyweight Champion feels good to say. There's a roll off the tongue about it. This last year and a half, we've had several teased incidents by the WWE that had Dean Ambrose getting really close to winning the WWE Heavyweight Championship. But they finally put the belt on the lunatic fringe. I think this is a very good thing, in my opinion. I think that Dean Ambrose has been searching way too long for the heavyweight title. I think these close calls have been culminating a little too much, and it kind of wore his character thin. It's sad to say this, but I'm going to address the elephant in the room in this situation, but the WWE kind of put Dean into a tough corner when they had to suspend Roman Reigns for 30 days. As you guys do know, Roman Reigns has been suspended for 30 days for a violation, his first violation of the wellness policy. That can either pertain to performance-enhancing drugs or to illicit substances. What I want to get to is this. From these two topics that I mentioned is that WWE had to put the belt on somebody. They wanted to either put it on they wanted to put it on one of the members, the ex-members of the Shield that wasn't Roman Reigns. They put it on Seth Rollins for a few minutes because they've kind of wanted him to win cleanly over Roman Reigns, but they decided to go for plan B, which was have Dean Ambrose cash in immediately and actually walk away Money in the Bank with the heavyweight title. To me, that is great. That is great storylines right there. That is something that I didn't expect WWE to do so quickly, and I'm very surprised that they did. And with surprises comes me marking out and being very surprised and very entertained. I think Money in the Bank was probably one of the most entertaining pay-per-views I've seen in a long time. In the case of Roman Reigns, and I hate bringing him up on this topic, but he's an important catalyst to this whole topic that we're bringing up, because Dean Ambrose wouldn't have been WWE Heavyweight Champion had it not been for Roman Reigns being suspended. So just keep in mind, guys, that a lot of people have been suspended, and a lot of people have violated the wellness policy, and a lot of champions have violated the wellness policy, and a lot of champions had to vacate the title during their violation. So in Roman Reigns' case, this is no different. I would be very surprised to find out that this is the shoot, and then that this has been nothing but a ploy by the WWE to suspend him for no reason and just to, have him around for Battleground. Who knows? This is still something that's ongoing and uncovering, but as of now, we have Dean Ambrose as the champion. To me, I think that Dean Ambrose is a great fresh champion that we've all been waiting for. This goes along the time of where Seth Rollins actually won it for the first time. This goes up to the incident where Roman Reigns won it for the first time. To get to the point here is that this is a fresh face. This is somebody new. This is a fresh pop. Dean Ambrose fans are going to actually enjoy him actually winning the title. I was able to see live reaction of Dean Ambrose winning the title, and wow, it really got crazy. Not as much as when Seth Rollins won it to regain it, because that was a surprise indeed, but wow, did he not? Dean Ambrose probably got an equal amount of a pop from the Las Vegas crowd. We've been, to get back to what I said in the beginning, is that we've been teased too long for Dean Ambrose winning this WWE title. He was very, very close at Roadblock to defeating Triple H. At Roadblock, this is something we all wanted to see, but due to the fact that Roadblock was kind of like a network exclusive, it was kind of hard to assume and to think that Dean Ambrose was actually going to win it then and there at Roadblock. I wanted him to win it. Everyone else wanted him to win it. No one likes seeing Triple H win the title at Royal Rumble out of the blue. No one likes seeing that. I personally didn't. I thought that, him having the belt for the interim while Roman Reigns waits it out till WrestleMania, that's cool. But to have Triple H come out of Royal Rumble as the last contestant and to come in and just pedigree a couple people, and to have Dean Ambrose be the one to lose it all, being the last person that Triple H had to eliminate, I thought that was pretty. It was pretty emotional, and it wasn't that enjoyable seeing that, just because Dean Ambrose has been going along this road for too long. He's been going along this road for so long, as a matter of fact, that the WWE universe has been kind of tame on him now. They don't really want to see, they want anyone else but Dean Ambrose try to win this because they've seen it too many times. Once that storyline plays over to you so many times, it gets redundant, and with redundancy comes complacency. And you don't want that when you have a program where you want people to tune in based on surprises, based on what's going to happen next, based on storyline. You just can't have that. I've had the longest suspicion that Dean Ambrose was never meant to be champion. I thought that this guy was just going to be the fall guy to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns for years to come, and it just got to the point where I actually thought that Dean Ambrose was going to just stick around the mid-card, but now with him winning the WWE Heavyweight title, he gets really elevated from the mid-level to the top tier to now he's at the top tier, because based on based on the run of current heavyweight champions of this year, you have Roman Reigns, Triple H, and now you have it went to Sheamus. No, it was Roman Reigns, Triple H, and then it went back to and then as soon as Roman Reigns won it, it went to Sheamus. Then Roman Reigns won it again. Now Roman Reigns gave it to Seth Rollins, who then had Dean Ambrose cash in on him. Now Dean Ambrose is the champ. Out of those times, Roman Reigns has won the title thrice times in the past year and a half. He's won it 3 times. He's now a 3-time champ. So this doesn't really go well with anyone, because the fact of the matter is that we wanted other people other than Roman Reigns to win it. I thought for a long time that Dean Ambrose was never going to win it, that it was just going to be exchanged between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and then a part-timer gets it. This we've seen this song and dance before. So to come to the final point of this one is that I was really surprised, and I'm glad to see that that Dean Ambrose actually won this at Money in the Bank. I'm just really happy for the guy. The stars may have aligned in the sense that Roman Reigns had to give it up that night to Dean Ambrose or to somebody, but it was really good to see that someone else other than Roman Reigns had to keep the title. Because the WWE could have just kept the suspension under wraps, and they could have just had him hold the title for 30 days and not appear on television, and then have him show up at Battleground to fight for the title again with the Shield Fatal 3-Way. But WWE decided to just have Roman Reigns show up on Monday night, cut the promos for it, set up the storyline, get to spend it on Tuesday, and now for the next couple weeks, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are going to have to build this up while Roman Reigns is away. That to me might be pretty good, because we now see Seth Rollins in the picture regularly, and now we don't have to see Roman Reigns for a long time. That always does good with the fans. And now Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins can actually be exchanging stuff. Exchanging, the matches, 3-way tags, what have you, so on and so forth. With this, I see a lot of good more than bad, with Dean being the champ rather than Roman Reigns. I see a talent with better mic skills. I see a wrestler with a more diverse moveset. And if I'm looking at it from a business perspective, I see that the crowd enjoys Dean a whole lot more than they do with Roman. I think Dave Meltzer and the gang actually reported that they saw the sales figures for the live events, and they had 2 different tours, 2 different legs of tours. They had the Roman Reigns tour, with Roman Reigns being the feature, and then they had the Dean Ambrose tour, with Dean Ambrose as the feature. They came to the conclusion that Roman Reigns' tour, which is the A tour, was actually getting getting as much attendance as the tour with Dean Ambrose at the helm on the main events. So with that being said, with Dean Ambrose being advertised for B shows and for Roman Reigns being advertised for B shows, and Dean Ambrose getting as much attendance as Roman Reigns does, this goes to show the business side of WWE that Dean Ambrose can equally pull as much attendance as Roman Reigns does. So they look at that and they see, well, we need to get the title off Roman Reigns. He got popped for whatever on the wellness policy, so now who are we going to give it to? We can't give it to Seth Rollins immediately, but contradicting myself, of course, because at Money in the Bank he did win it. But now who do they want it for the long term? I'm talking in the sense of the long term, because now as we see it, as the storyline played out, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns clean, 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose comes in, cashes in, and becomes the new heavyweight championship. They trust Dean Ambrose. I want to get to the point that they trust this guy now, based on the fact that he's pulling a lot, same amount of numbers as their heavyweight champion. Keep in mind, guys, that this whole part of the tour, Roman Reigns is heavyweight champion. Dean Ambrose wasn't heavyweight champion. Hell, he doesn't even have a title stuck with him. But now he does. Now they want to see where these, now they're going to see where these numbers are going to stack up. See who's going to get more as champion. Roman is not a heel, guys. You have to remember that. Roman Reigns has not either established whether he's babyface or heel. So Roman Reigns gets boos regardless. He gets boos all the time. but he's supposed to be a face. His slogan, "I'm not the bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy," that basically tries to let you know that he is neither babyface nor heel in the context of his promos. But we can all see that due to the fact that he was heavyweight champion and he's trying to beat guys clean, that he is a babyface. He doesn't use brash heel tactics. But Roman Reigns isn't supposed to get booed, guys. The face of the company is not supposed to get booed. In the sense of John Cena, there's kids buying his gear, so that kind of alienates everything, and he sells merch like crazy. Plus the fact that he does a lot of Make-A-Wish Foundation requests. He actually holds a record for the most, so that is something to appreciate as well. Anyway, to my next point is that what I want to tell you is that this is a great move that the WWE made, based from what I've said now. Don't be surprised that if he keeps it past SummerSlam. The only time he'll probably give it up is only to Seth Rollins. I really don't think that Roman Reigns is going to get the title the rest of this calendar year. I think that what WWE wants to do is actually put Roman Reigns in the doghouse. He hasn't got that Shawn Michaels, that Stone Cold Steve Austin, that Dwayne Johnson. He hasn't got that upper tier respect yet within the locker room. And what I mean by that is this. When Shawn Michaels had to give up the belts, he already had a resume that stretched a mile long. Meaning that next time he came back, all he had to do was wrestle a couple matches and then he'll eventually get the title again. Same thing with Dwayne Johnson when he left to do movies and came back to WWE. Yeah, they slapped the title on him a couple more times. Same thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. The same goes for anyone else who's violated the wellness policy along the lines. I'm not saying that The Rock or Stone Cold's done it, but I'm saying that Shawn Michaels done it for sure. He's actually, it's actually been a point via various documentaries that he has violated the wellness policy and had to give up the belt. My final point, guys, is this. Dean has now joined a select few wrestling superstars. He's part of that upper echelon of WWE Heavyweight Champions. He has a long time to where he actually garners that respect and the prestige of it, but he's now a WWE Heavyweight Champion. Not a lot of people can say that. WWE has put the trust in Dean Ambrose. The trust that the WWE fan base has always had with him. We've always wanted Dean Ambrose to win this. We've always wanted to. At Roadblock, we wanted to see him. At the ladder match he had with Seth Rollins, the Hell in a Cell he had with Seth Rollins, we've always wanted to see this guy win it. It was almost to the point where it became redundant, and I explained that earlier, but it also came to the point where this was getting really complacent, and we didn't want to see this happen again and again and again. We didn't want to get cock-teased every time that this guy almost won it. At Roadblock, I almost went crazy, and then Royal Rumble didn't help me anymore because he was close to winning it again. Now WWE has satisfied the fan base. Now we have our WWE Heavyweight Champion in Dean Ambrose. He's been the champion of the people, of the audience, for so long, and it's been proven in the attendance figures. It's been proven to what they've done at Money in the Bank. This is a great example of when WWE finally realizes what they have to do to keep the fans satisfied. The stars aligned, and I'm not, I hate trying to say that this actually is a good thing, but when now Roman Reigns has been suspended, you kind of have to be thankful for that, because it's really hard to assume that at Money in the Bank he was going to lose it against Seth Rollins. Who knows? We cannot assume, we can't play Monday night quarterback because the cards have already been dealt. Dean Ambrose is champ and that's it. Roman Reigns got suspended. Yeah, that happened. So we can't go back and, imagine shit. But we can see now that WWE has their trust in him. And the attendance figures at different shows have shown that Dean Ambrose can hold his own in comparison to the actual champion. So I want to leave you guys with this, is that it is very important that Dean Ambrose is champion, because now it satisfies WWE in the sense of the fan base and the business sense. WWE does not want to do decisions that do not financially make sense. That is just plain and simple. The reason they had Daniel Bryan win the title, is because a lot of people were asking for it again and again and again. They keep stealing the show until it happened. He had his WrestleMania moment. That's an example. Dean Ambrose came a long way. He headlined several pay-per-views where he was close to winning the title. Now he did it at Money in the Bank, but he had it. The best thing about it is that he kind of did it on his own terms. The Money in the Bank title the Money in the Bank briefcase kind of tells you that guys will get a title shot on their own regards at any time that they want. That's what you perceive when you see someone have the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's why I wanted to get to. WWE trusts this guy. It's very important that we also trust him. So I'm very glad that Dean Ambrose has actually won the WWE Heavyweight title. Anyway, I want to let you guys know that this pay-per-view wrestling podcast has been brought to you by Game Swappers. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade your retro games and next-gen consoles. That's PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. You can come into contact with Game Swappers via Instagram at GAMESWAPPERS. That's GAMESWAPPERS. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade. Game Swappers is going to have an event June 26th from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill at the Fairplex in Pomona. At the Fairplex Fairgrounds, excuse me. They're going to have 10 plus video game vendors and etc. So you can buy, sell, and trade with other vendors. You can bring a backpack full of games that you don't want to sell them, to do whatever you want. You have to remember, guys, is that this is free participation, free parking. This event is 100% free. There'll be a full bar. There'll also be food so you can actually purchase. This event, you can get into more details by contacting Game Swappers on their Instagram page for more details. One more thing, guys. Keep in mind that if you do share any which one of my podcasts, whether it's the Mark and Andre Show, whether it's pay-per-view wrestling podcast, or whether it's Retro Collecting 101, you take a screenshot of what you shared, you show it to Game Swappers. They'll give you 10% off towards your retro games, or they'll give you 10% more towards your retro game trade-in. So if you have games that you want to trade in, any games, even today, someone turned in a bunch of PlayStation 2 games, a bunch of PSP UMDs. We'll take them all, but we'll give you 10% more towards your trade-in. It's a win-win, guys. I win as far as cross-promotional advertisement. You win as far as getting a discount. Game Swappers wins for the advertisement and for the trade-ins that you give them. I want to wish you guys a good night. I'll keep you guys more updated as far as Battleground goes or anything else that pertains to the wrestling updates. I want to actually do a quick preview later on the next couple weeks at the Cruiserweight Classic. And yeah, but other than that, be sure to tune in to the Mark and Andre Show happening Friday night live at 9 p.m. That's as far as I can go with that. But other than that, you guys have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.